Hi, Cancers, and welcome to January of 2019. I hope that you are thriving and feeling wonderful and taking a bit of an exhale coming out of December. I know it was very stressful for you all. I know you had like a lot of things and a lot of mountains to climb and a lot of battles to fight and a lot of Mercury retrograde havoc to go through. I'm happy you've come out of December. If you've come out of December, well, Cancer, and you're still breathing, you're still here. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be fine. Like December was a big testing time for you, a big testing time for you, and you'll see that a lot of the choices that you made during that time will follow you around a little bit, and will hopefully provide for you the stage and platform that you've needed for a long time. It's okay though if you weren't perfect during December. It's okay if mistakes were made. As it is also okay if you did perfect. Everything is really okay for Cancer. It kind of feels like you can't really mess up, even if you don't do what you expected of yourself. But there's still a very strict guideline that you feel imposed upon yourself, while at the same time knowing that it's okay if you don't really follow it, and it's really a tug of war. I feel your soul energy to be in a tug of war, and I feel you to be battling every bit as much on the external as you are on the internal. I feel it to be very mirrored, and I feel it to be very polarized, so I feel that it must be inside and outside for you. I want you guys to just calm down a little bit. I want you to calm down, and I want you to not keep doing this to yourself. I feel like you are inflicting a bit of pain on yourself, and just, not having to do with what other people are doing to you, or not having to do with what you're having to face in your life right now. You just won't give yourself peace about certain things, and that's something that you will see emerge and continue throughout January somewhat, not quite as bad as December. If you can't sit at the end of December, hopefully in the beginning of January, with a sense of peace in your downtime and in your idle time, that is not threatened by what is looming above you, okay? It's easy for Cancer to feel a little bit threatened during this time. There are a lot of energies around, Jupiter in Sag, Saturn in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, that are on opposite sides of you. So you see, like, very clearly what is opposing you right now, and you see that there are a lot of things around it, and like it seems like teamwork. A lot of Cancers do feel a little bit attacked, or feel like it's almost like there's a team or group of people against them. And that's a lot of what your 2019 year ahead video deals with. I go into that there, Cancer. Depending on when you're watching this video, it may and may not be available yet, but they should be available soon after the new year, the calendar new year, that is, not the astrological new year, because that is in March. But I'll link that below when it is available. Okay. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat, you guys. My throat's been a little bit weird. I'm dealing with throat chakra stuff myself, although I do have wonderful, wonderful peppermint hot chocolate here. I'm usually a coffee person, but it's decaf because, like, caffeine hasn't been so great for me. I'm small talking, I know, but you guys need to give yourself, like, the peppermint hot chocolates. You need to give yourself the decaf peppermint hot chocolates, rather than, like, the 10 shots of vodka or whatever it is. You need to give yourself a nice, like, sensual, easy evening with yourself, rather than like the promiscuous, frantic weekend night, or whatever it is. You guys do have the devil in your reading. You do have the tower in your reading. You have the chariot in your reading. So much destruction can come if you're letting your lower brain or your lower instincts rule you right now, because there's no limit. There is no limit to Cancer energy right now when it comes to dealing with the dark side of life, or when it comes to doing things which are hidden, secretive, or compulsive. A lot of compulsions can come out in January, Cancer, and there's a responsibility that I do feel you have to fall into, while honoring the fact that you do have urges and desires, and following through on those things in a way that saves you, and in a way that honors yourself and honors, whoever you care about in your life. Because there's also an ability that you guys have had for a while but it really comes up in January, towards the end of January, actually. There's an ability for you to really cause pain to people, and it's their own fault. I'm not trying to blame you for it, but you take such a nurturing, instinctive role to the people that you love. And it's going to be really easy to be that, while at the same time being a little bit of an Aries, or being a little bit of a Scorpio for some of you. There's a very Martian Pluto energy that's coming up. And that's a frightening thing. When Cancer energy mixes with Martian energy, Mars is debilitated in Cancer, it can be terrifying and it can be devastating because they're just so polarized. And Scorpio and Aries destroy. Cancer nurtures and creates. So when you see that blended together in one individual, it can drive the people around you crazy. It can drive yourself crazy. You can wake up on the other side of this Cancer and cry for months. I just want to warn you of that. So you have to know what you're doing right now. You can't just be on autopilot. No Cancer being on autopilot right now, because I'm feeling June 2019, but it could even be all the way on the other side. We're talking March 2020, where you hit rock bottom and cry for months and wash out of everything. If the Devil, Tower, Emperor, Chariot energy, even that Ace of Swords reversed, Five of Swords, so many of them, oh my gosh. If those are just operated through in a mindless type of blank drunkenness or escapist type of way, it's nothing but tears and heartbreak in the long run. So these energies come up in our lives when we've done really good, or when we've had options, when we've had like a lot of lovely things come into our lives. Also when we hit the crossroads, you're making hard choices, and it's sort of the universe saying like, okay, are you strong enough to commit to this? Are you strong enough to be owed this like incredible situation? Because the universe is hesitant in this type of paradigm to give things which are hard to find and rare if they will be squandered. There's not a lot of, well, okay, here's the thing. In 2018, with Jupiter and Scorpio, Saturn and Capricorn, it really used a lot of potent energy for like healing and transformation. And it gave a lot of these situations to which are hard to find and rare. And 2019 also can as well, for specific types of lucky individuals. And maybe through 2019 it will actually be easy. I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit. Perhaps you can get a lot of like rare, incredible situations coming in. But let me tell you, 2018 and 2019 are consumptive of that type of thing. So by the time we get to 2020, it will be hard. And that's probably why I'm feeling March 2020 to be like a rock bottom for some Cancers, or some, like, it's not really even a sign thing. Again, this is a little bit collective, but it's really being represented by you all right now. That's why we get to 2020 and Cancer can feel really out of options or really desolate, because the universe is giving a lot of these like rare, incredible situations, and it's seeing some of them being squandered, and it's thinking, why did I give that? Or it's, and again, we're talking consciousness connected to universe. I can't really speak for universe. I feel messages from universe, from source, God, whatever you want to call it. I feel those messages, but I don't like to speak for it. I don't feel like that's my place. But the way that I understand what's being interpreted is that a lot has been given, a lot is still being given, and there are tests in and about to kind of decide, is it worth it? And we come out on the other side of it, having really defined how we take prosperity and benevolence and abundance, really having defined what our reaction to that is. So if you operate in the Tower, the Devil, Five of Swords, and in some cases the Emperor and Chariot, in an idle autopilot way, and just succumbing to urges, succumbing to whims that aren't healthy for you or the people that you love, it's an easy way to end up not really finding yourself in these humbling, incredible situations for quite a long time. And I will say that this is somewhat true for everyone. I'm not trying to single you out, Cancer, because you're incredible, you're warm, you're loving, you care so much about the people around you, the majority of you. And I sense that many of you are like very humbly just trying for yourself and for those that you love. So that's beautiful. And contrarily, January can actually be quite fun for a lot of you and can actually be cathartic. There can be a catharsis that really unfolds if you're like healthy about things in January. Things of the past that were really painful can break away and can fall, and the foundations can be redone. You can face trauma or potential pain with a sense of humor and a sense of confidence and optimism. You can face any type of opposition with grace and clarity and connection. And you can also be an incredible problem solver during this time. You can also finally follow through on something you've wanted to do for a really long time. This can be the time where a relationship like becomes that much more like hot for you. Like the devil is all about attraction and chemical connection. So it's an incredible time to healthily navigate that. It's also a type of energy that can generate compulsions. So watch out for being too reckless with your compulsions. That's the only thing, especially when some of these other cards are around. Like the devil by itself is one thing, but when you surround it with this very strong like Mars energy and this very strong you know Five of Swords and the Tower energy, it can become something that could be very destructive if you're not careful. And it's also something that's seen. That's something that I want to like really illuminate for you all. Like Cancer does not hide very well in the year of 2019. Whether or not it's seen, it will be like detectable. So like what I mean by that is that people can really feel your compulsions and your desires right now, and you can feel excluded, you can feel disconnected, you can feel really heavy just around other people when they sense that there's just something that's a little bit off, or they sense that there's like that what I was talking about earlier, like that mixture of like nurture and care, but also like destruction and chaos. It's something that makes people want to go the other direction. So Cancer doesn't need to hide things during this time. Cancer doesn't need to be fearful. Cancer doesn't need to worry about being judged or worry about people wanting to see them be walked away from, such as your like life story for such a long time. It's not really an accurate thing right now, so don't try to get caught in that like history, that like long history book of being walked away from, or that long history book of always being the person that people don't understand, or like the misunderstood one, or the outcast type of archetype. All of that gets generated from like these desires which just don't match up anymore, or these compulsions which just don't like flatter anymore. So yes, recalibrating your wants, recalibrating your desires, recalibrating your understanding, having a sense of like enjoyment, and it's like deeper than that, like not just like you have like this chocolate cake, and you're like, I love this chocolate cake, I'm gonna eat it every single day because I love it so much. Like really, working on your appetite and thinking, wow, this chocolate cake is so much better now that I'm only having it here and there. Try to not be too compulsive with eating. It's a time where weight gain can happen. It's a time where STDs can happen if you're too promiscuous. It's a time where people can misinterpret your messages if you don't actually mean what you say. And yeah, it's that type of thing, okay? It's awkward. There's an awkwardness. And it's also a time where people don't have patience. You can see yourself make one little hiccup and it creates this huge ripple in your life. So why is that? Why do people judge Cancer so harshly? Why do people react so strongly to Cancer's hiccups? That's a good question. I think it's because you often do things quite perfectly. So especially if you have Virgo, which is quite common for some Cancer people, you do things quite perfectly. So when people see you hiccup, they know that it's actually representative of something really amiss, because Cancer doesn't tend to mess up unless there's like a lot going on under the surface that's like really actually a huge problem. So people instinctively know that. So they see you mess up with something and they're like, bye. Or they're like, or they're kind of out to get you. Like vendettas can form through like your own like perilous ways. So just watch out for being clumsy, watch out for being perilous, watch out for being like invincible, like thinking you're invincible. That's kind of in every bun. I'm saying that in pretty much all the readings this month is because there's a sense of strength. Jupiter's in Sag, we have more desire, we have more wants, we have more like luck, and we feel that, and we're like, I'm just gonna like do something crazy. Invincibility is not quite there yet, and there might be a little bit of a period of time later this year where we can like kind of get away with anything, certain types of people, but that time is not yet. That will be certainly not before March. Anyway, Cancers, again, beautiful things coming up. The Chariot, like progress, problem solving, money's here, new business ideas, new ideas in general, people helping you, people extending a helping hand for things which have needed addressing for a long time. It's really easy. But let's go ahead and get into the week to week and see what more clearly and specifically is coming up. Week number 1, you have the Emperor rooted down by Ace of Swords reversed. I love it. I really love it. It's exactly what you've needed, actually. The Emperor, to me, represents action, represents Martian direct action. It represents routine. It represents discipline. It represents sticking to your own morals, your own values, and rising above other people's expectations of you and setting out your own path. I actually love that it's rooted down by Ace of Swords reversed. You guys have been way too in your head for a long time, way too afraid, way too like apt to finding reasons why you can't do something, why you can't be happy, why this is going to be really difficult, and then like you wear yourself out and you start dreading things. To me, that says get out of your head. Ace of Swords reversed. Don't overthink things. Don't overanalyze things. Don't like go crazy, but rather shift into this place of like knowing what you need to do, knowing like what your direction is, what your linear path is, and not letting your own thoughts get in the way of that. That's really been Cancer's own difficulty over 2018 with Jupiter and Scorpio. It's so self-focused. It's so like obsessive compulsive in some ways, so we really obsess on what we're doing. This is a time for that to naturally start to come to an end. It's actually kind of a crowning moment for you, Cancer, the first week of January. The fact that you've come out of 2018 and seen yourself in 2019 with a bit of an exhale, or seen that you got a lot of stuff done in December that had been racking up for a long time. Crowning moment in week number 1. I know in the intuitive messages before I got into the week to week that I was talking about a lot of heavy stuff, but it just had to come out then. This is not something that has to be hard. This is not something that has to be difficult. The only red flag that I can see with the Emperor is that it is a red flag type of energy. So you can see red flags come up. You can see like, ooh, that's a problem area. Like, be aware of what is a red flag. Be aware of what is a warning sign. Also, be aware of the desires of other people. Be aware of what other people around you are wanting, and do you feel that you need to give that to them? Sometimes when the Emperor comes up, it can say that we're not really caring what other people want or what other people need. It's only about our needs because we're like the sovereign energy. We've been crowned. So the rest of the empire's needs are secondary no matter what. And that can be a bit of a problem sometimes. I don't see that to be a problem for you right now. But with the Devil coming up with the Tower, it can create conflict later to see that only you matter in the life of yourself and like everyone around you. So do take that into account during this time. But overall, week number 1 really good because you need a little bit of that right now. Like that's not so bad in a short dose, but you just need to take the fine qualities of the Emperor, the direction, the energy, so much energy, so much like off to battle energy. Like it's a strong energy to go to war or to fight if you needed to. And it says to me that you're not drained and depleted in the same way that you were. So make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're giving your body enough energy to sustain the Emperor type of archetype. But use that energy to sit in your power, to sit in your crown moment. And I would like to say to also give back to your empire, to give back to the people that are around you in a way that makes them feel really loved and enjoyed, because you can really build a strong network with that energy right now as well. Definitely beware of not caring, because you know that you have power. So like you're in a relationship or in a career and you're like, I know that I'm like irreplaceable, so I really don't have to try anymore because I'm like crowned. Watch out for that type of thing that can come up, only in small doses for a small percentage. Anyway, week number 2, 10 of Pentacles rooted down by Page of Pentacles reversed. You do see the benefits of the self-prioritization there. And to go back on what I said a little bit, I'm not saying that you have to just prioritize everyone around you, like no matter what. Like, of course, you have to sustain yourself before you sustain those around you. And you see the benefit in the second week of having sustained yourself before you like thought too much about other people. There's just a point where it becomes indulgent, where it becomes like, okay, this is easy. Like I don't have to work on anybody else yet. I have this empire. I have all these servants. I have all of these people or things around me that serve me, and I don't have to give back because this is the standard. That's what I meant. That's when it becomes unhealthy. But yes, you always have to sustain yourself first and foremost. But yes, the second week is a time where you can get like a raise or you can get a promotion. Also where you can see engagement or proposal or like have a marriage. I sense that some of you are creating a more sense of joint finances. So you are having more to work with, perhaps like maybe getting gifts or maybe just having more liquid money to work with, which is really beautiful for you. I know it's been tight for some of you lately. Having had Saturn and Pluto opposite you creates a bit of a constraint on the budget. But that seems to be getting better and better as we're moving into 2019. Also in the second week, it's important to think about like family as well. For those of you who are really family oriented right now, you can see that attention is needed in the family sector. Also, some of you are just thriving in the family sector. So building family wealth, building family prestige, but also building a sense of stability and security within the personal sense of family. So look to your family for security. Look to your even your inherited family for security. Also, it is a time of inheritance for some of you as well, which is beautiful. In the third week, Cancers, you have the Chariot rooted down by Five of Swords. Okay, here we go. The second half of January, all of these cards, look at them. I want to say, first off, things have gotten easier here. By what you've done at the end of December and the beginning of January, things are easier starting out in the second half of January. In fact, you get an exhale. A lot of you get like a sense of having to do less, or a sudden shift of easiness, actually. The question is what emerges in this stillness, or what emerges in this easiness? These like desires, these people who are not the right crowd, this problem that is being solved in a perhaps less than honest way. Those are the types of things that come up here. If you can make it through these 2 weeks of January in an honest, integrity-based, humble place, while finding direct solutions to problems, utilizing that emperor energy, and while holding yourself on a pedestal with your loved ones. Something about loved ones does keep coming up for sure. So like really staying connected to your loved ones, that Ten of Pentacles energy coming in, and even perhaps seeking advice for the people that you trust, from the people that you trust most. You will come through this period of time really well. So you're moving through the third week really quickly, really speedily. The Chariot is all about, quick action, quick solutions, and, honing your instinct. There's a strong similarity between the Devil and the Chariot. The imagery is actually nearly identical. You have the central figure being led or constraining the two smaller figures on either side, on the left and right. And they're very similar. And there are a lot of cards in tarot that have that imagery. But the Chariot deals a lot with instincts as well, as the Devil deals a lot with instincts. The Chariot comes with a clarity and a strong resolution and an instinctual approach toward problem solving that is very healthy. So that's kind of what you want to strive for a little bit, and I'm so happy that you have it naturally in the third week. It's being rooted down by Five of Swords, which sometimes can be more positive than we give it credit for. As long as you're not being too ego-based and you're not like just wanting to win no matter what, you're not just wanting to, cut other people's heads off just to have victory, you're going to be in good territory. Also not feeling too invincible. Again, like sometimes Five of Swords can give us a bit of a God complex where it's like, I am not going to be convicted for anything, or I am not going to be faced by anyone. Again, with the Emperor energy, it's like it is treason to call me on anything. Beware of this type of thing, because the universe does call you on something in the fourth week. But as we're still in the third week, just keep navigating through in a smooth way. Keep navigating, keep moving. Autopilot is okay when it comes to like routine and tasks. It's just not okay for like lower instincts, if that makes sense. Try to not worry too much about winning or being the victorious one, or being too competitive. There can be like a competitive streak that comes out during that time as well. And that's going to be something for those of you who are in like big business or like really trying to like climb a ladder or something. I do feel like rivals can emerge during that time. And I feel like there can be weird little corruption opportunities that come up as well. Like you can corrupt your values, or you can corrupt your connection to people or something, or you can have a tendency toward betraying yourself or others in the name of like victory, or in the name of like feeling yourself on top of something. So sit with that, and see like through that as well, and you'll do really well. Week number 4, Cancers, the Tower rooted down by the Devil. Hello. Yeah. So you're going to be on like one of two sides of this. You're either going to see that there are a lot of people around you. You're going to see that you trust certain people, other people you don't trust. Some of you can be like cheated on. Some of you can be having issues with your home, or having something come up just like where you feel held under something, or you feel like a bit of a victim, just a little bit. I feel that is actually the smaller percentage of you. And then there are going to be others of you that have a temptation to destroy something, to like break something, okay? When the Devil and the Tower come up, it's, to me, always a desire to destroy, or a desire to break down. And of course, destruction and breaking is a necessary archetype, in the sense that you have to release and let go before new things can come in. But oftentimes with the Devil, it's not about getting the next thing in. It's not about the resurfacing. It's not about the transformation. It's about the feeling of something breaking. It's about the catharsis of something splitting, okay? So Cancers can seem a little bit sociopathic during this time. Cancers can seem a little bit just it's not natural. There's something unnatural about it for you. And I was a little bit surprised to see it. And I'm just trying to channel my way through what this energy represents for you. Don't take it the wrong way. Again, some of you are on the other side of this. Like there's someone around you who's like being very destructive, or someone around, like the person that you're in a relationship with is just being like really, just really chaotic, like really maybe a little bit crazy, like unhinged. Like people can feel unhinged during this time. Like your boss can feel unhinged, or your the road you're walking on can just feel unwelcome, like not wellly constructed. Like my words aren't really even working too well through that energy, Cancer. So communication is going to be really important during that time. Oh my gosh, so important to communicate with the people that you trust what's going on with you, and using that throat chakra really powerfully. What a great opportunity to heal the throat chakra, to heal communication, to heal your truth as a person, and to understand what it is that you truly want as well. Like think about it. Like think about what you're wanting, because when you want to destroy, or when you want to see things break, it's because you want something else. Like you're not happy with what's come up, or not even always that. Like sometimes you're really satisfied with what you have, but there just needs to be something else added in. Or it can be something as simple as like the lighting in your house or something, or the light's too fluorescent and making you just feel like making your ocular nerves really stressed. It's like by changing the light bulbs, you can solve this like this sleeping problem you've had, or this communication problem you've had, or this incompatibility you've had. Like these like weird things can solve strange problems. For those of you who feel a bit of an emergency during this time, or for those of you who feel it coming, oftentimes with the Tower and the Devil, it's not too sudden. I'm sensing for some of you it can be a little bit sudden. Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. I hate to say words like emergency because it like freaks people out, and for a lot of you this is like it's not even going to be an issue, but try to keep things predictable as much as you can. So maybe not just like jet setting off to some random place, or having some sort of random hookup, or having some sort of random like storming out and like walking through the city at 4 a.m. Watch out for things like that, like things that put you in unknown surroundings at like the wrong times, or try to not be a victim to those types of desires, especially. Some of you might be thinking like I'm talking about like, don't be tempted to cheat on your partner, which that is also true as well. But especially things that you get like this sudden like anger, and you're like, I'm gonna storm out of my house at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's raining outside, it's freezing, my car's like broken down, but I'm just gonna chance it and like drive through the woods or something. They're like weird, like really unsafe scenarios that you have like this temptation to put yourself in. Some of you have a bit of an adrenaline addiction perhaps. But does it suit you to just repress that? Like, so you have the desire to storm out, and you have the desire to do these kind of odd things. Like, does repressing that, or saying, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to do what I always do, I'm going to like, just like lay in bed and like watch a nice romantic comedy or something in reaction to that, it doesn't quite work. You sense still a fleeting, like, I wanted to do that other thing, or I wanted to do that, and I really don't feel good doing this like more boring thing now. And some of you will just really enjoy like kicking back during that time and resting. That would really be the best thing. Like if you can naturally just rest during that time, have the tea, have the bed, have the romantic comedy, that's great. Don't doubt that. But for those of you who are not being satiated by that, what can you do? Really good for those of you who have a stable relationship, really take that to the next level, like a new sense of intimacy, a new sense of desire. You have to be careful about how far you take it, though. Is it a time to introduce polyamory into your relationship? Probably not. Perhaps some of you have been struggling with that. It might not be. It's not a time to really threaten anything, but it is a time to maybe take things to the next level, or to like raise the stakes of something, or to like really allow yourself to showcase your love to someone in a way that you never have before. Being vulnerable with like who you love and trust, a really great way to channel that. Also, just what do I want to say? Because you have to be careful about starting cycles with that type of energy as well. The Devil's all about cycles. So I was going to say like, just go to the casinos or something, and like give yourself a $20 budget and do like a gambling or something. But I wouldn't recommend it actually, because you could see yourself wanting to starting to want to do that like every day after work or something. So just, I'm kind of having a stream of consciousness with y'all, because I'm like, I haven't quite found the answer. It's one thing to interpret the messages, but part of my job that I try to do is to also give solid advice on then how to work with the energies. And that's one that's, you kind of just have to get through. But the only like red flags and warning signs with that is don't betray yourself, don't betray people, don't betray your own sense of trust, your own sense of discovery, because you can, and you can do it easily during that time. And maybe even December, there were opportunities or times where that already happened, and try to not make that a cycle. It's like, okay, I've already done it. I've already done the thing. So now that has been broken, I'm just going to keep doing it because it's too late to reconcile it. It's, it's already gone. There's a sense of something being already gone during that time. And but it's not. What a great time to be honest. What a great time to like be transparent. What a great time to like face a situation in clarity and in beauty. I hope that this reading is not sounding majorly negative to you guys. You guys know that I hold you to a standard because you are some of my favorite people. I have a lot of Cancer in my chart too, so I'm speaking to myself as well. Like I'm a Cancerian person, like to the max, if some of y'all didn't know. And I feel this coming. Do you guys feel this? You guys feel how this has been like adding up for a long time and how this situation has been like building? Well, January releases it. February and the beginning of March might also be an echo. Some of you will completely solve it here. But we need to get to March without this sense of like looming compulsion, without this sense of like looming fear. The devil also deals with fear. I've talked a lot about the compulsion aspect of it, but fear is another aspect, like being afraid that your significant other is cheating on you, being afraid that you're not going to be able to stay loyal, being afraid that a cycle has started or that it's too late or that it's already gone. And that's what spurs compulsion. And it's like that cycle, Have I scared y'all yet? Oh my gosh, you guys, just talk. I wish I could just talk to y'all, like all of y'all, like right now, because I'm having a conversation with myself here. But the positives of this are immense. And you can feel things like you've never felt things before. So you finally meet the person that you've wanted to meet for so long, or you finally bridge over this problem that's been a struggle for a long time, and you feel that so deeply, and it satiates you in an incredible way. That is possible there as well. Your central theme is Two of Wands reversed, and I like it because it says to me you don't have to be too hasty. You don't have to fix anything right this second. You don't have to start running away. You don't have to start, the world's in your hand. You have a lot of power, Cancer, and you are extremely loved right now. You have a love in your life, like 95% of you, like you've never had before. Like you have a sense of like people wanting to be there for you, like multiple people. I'm not just talking about the person that you're with. I'm talking about like, there's like a big support network there if you want there to be. And you hold a lot of power in your hands because of that. Or maybe you have like more money than you've ever had, or whatever it is, whatever your power right now is, Cancer, you don't have to follow through with it. You don't have to spend that right now. It's in your hands, but nurture it. Two of Wands reversed can be like a little bit like, okay, I've got to, do this. I've got to do that. I've got to jump, the Chariot as well, the Emperor. And being too hasty or being too quick to follow through on a compulsion is the problem area this month. I hope I'm not sounding like a broken record. Just think twice. Marinate, like sit on what you're thinking about, like sit on it for a long time and think about it and reason with it. It's an okay month to reason with your gut, not even necessarily with your mind. Again, Ace of Swords is reversed, so it's an error to get too analytical with things. It's these subtleties. Analyzing with your gut, analyzing with your intuition is good, but not with your mind, because you will find an excuse to do whatever you want. Cancer is a very self-prolific sign, so you can motivate yourself to do anything, murder, whatever it is, because you will find a way that it suits you. So like Cancer is a self sign. If you can suit yourself, you will do it. So think with your gut, because that's your gut will tell you, okay, I can't murder, or your gut will tell you, okay, I can't do this. And you have to follow through on that and listen to it, because it all comes back to like what I was talking about, is creating a long-term sense of security for yourself. Following through on some of these like fears will not create a sense of long-term security. So you just have to see them. You have to wrap them up. You have to realize how you can sustain yourself, how you can be strong, and how you can have power without surrounding yourself with fear. For some of you, it's just as simple as being terrified of the next day. Just that by itself. Some of it has nothing to do with relationships, nothing to do with money, nothing to do with cycles or fear. Well, it does have to do with fear. But some of you, it just has to do with like, okay, I 2 hours late at night, I get into this mood where all of a sudden, like I'm really worried about things and I can't sleep and I can't face anything and it scares me. For some of you, it's just as simple as that. Okay. Don't worry about it, Cancer. You're going to be fine. Breathe. You're going to be fine. Okay. I'm trying to be here for you all. Yeah, sit with it, sit with yourself, give yourself the peppermint hot chocolate, like I said, rather than all the alcohol or whatever it is, and enjoy your surroundings. Enjoy what you already have. Want what you have. Want what you already have. It's beautiful. It's so rewarding. Okay, Cancers, I love you all so much. I'm going to end that reading there. What a powerful reading for you. Deal with this here, and you will move through 2019 with so much grace, fun, laughter, humor, beautiful things. I'm so excited for you to experience it. Be sure to check out your sun, moon, rising sign. If you're doing great, if you're not worried about things, some of the other readings might be more optimistic, but they're all a little bit here for sure. Because we're coming out of that weird Jupiter time, and things are changing. The planets are changing. The planets are on cusps. It's always a volatile time. We've had Mercury retrogrades. We've had nearly every planet being retrograde. So it's a volatile time. Check out that sun, moon, rising sign, though. Check out my Patreon page if you guys would like to contribute at all. If you're benevolent right now, it would help me so much. It's a great way to give back. That's a lot of energy that I just used to perform that reading for you. So if you would like to help me out as well as receive services, it's not just a free donation down on my Patreon, linked in the center of the screen and below. It's not just free services, but you also receive these readings early and ad-free and more if you would like. So check that out. I'm also on social media. You can find that below. And yeah, I will be coming to you guys soon. 2019 year ahead stuff will be up after the new year. Looking forward to that, because you will see that 2019 is such an incredible year for Cancer if you can just kind of work with this transitional energy here. Much love, Cancers. We'll be talking soon. Bye.